Talking sports.
Yeah, you're right.
Coming at you live.
South 18, Washington, D.C. Buffalo.
Here's some fractions back on. What's that? Who's that?
I don't know. I don't think that's it's done now.
Is that you, Rob? Okay. Come on, Rob. Gotta have our main guy on here.
Mr. Rob.
Make sure you have the computer on. Muted.
Uh-oh.
It's all good. We'll get him muted. I muted Rob for a quick second, give him time to get reset and all that fun stuff. But yeah, America, we're here. We're gonna have some fun. We please want to make sure that all my Dallas Cowboys fans are okay. Man, what is it? Watch that first step. It's a doozy.
Yeah, that was something.
You know, I knew they needed to do it with one of the, you can't pay everybody top dollar. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk to that.
But why the best player on your team?
We're going to dive into that. We're definitely going to dive into that because, there's a couple things probably why that occurred. I can't wait to dive into this topic. So I know we got a couple of things to hit first. I mean, that was definitely the game changer. Even Nas hit me up like, yo, did you check? I'm like, what happened? I'm like, oh, literally. Then it happened like 2 seconds later. Everything started coming through. I'm like, oh. And, our first reaction after shock and awe was to check in and make sure that you were okay, Gary, like you weren't in a fetal position somewhere. So
that was my first reaction. My first reaction was, damn it, we got to go in the lab. Well, now I got to deal with Micah's.
That is true. That is true. That was JQ's reaction. I was like, F that.
Listen, because I'm the youngest and I'm selfish.
No, that's a true reaction. So we're gonna wait for Rob to get on, and like I said, for those that are joining us again.
And that's what I did. As soon as I pulled it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, week 4, we got to play Green Bay.
Yeah.
Oh man, he got like 20. No, it's all good, man. That's gonna be a little.
Listen, I gotta deal with Mike. You met Mike. I'm going to the game with him, and they give him Micah Parsons. I'm gonna listen. I'm able to get his head on the airplane.
Man, the Cowboys are always known for making headlines, and they're right back at it again on the opposite side. We'll dive into that too. I'm going to set the stage really quickly as we're waiting for Rob to jump back on. Hopefully he can get on because we definitely need his takes and all that fun stuff too. So, again, for those that are checking, the normal situations, how to find us is you want to reach out to us, and there's Rob. You want to reach out to us. Things. What's up, Rob?
What's going on? Can you guys hear me pretty good?
No, you got a lot of static.
A lot of static there, buddy.
All right. Y'all have a good night. I give up.
No, stay right there. Just mute yourself whenever you have to talk. How about that? Let's try that.
Yeah, just mute it.
Yeah, but I can't hear you guys when you turn me off.
No, can you mute your phone on your side?
Oh.
There it is. Let's try that. Then whenever you got to talk, you can just unmute yourself or thumbs up or something like that too, man. We're gonna make this work, Rob. We need you, man. It's all fun, man. So really quickly, I'm firing out where to find us really, really quick because we got a lot of things to jump into. Follow us on Twitter at the number 12 THMAN Sports. Follow us on our YouTube, another 12th man. And then last but not least, we're streaming live on Facebook. So it's been an amazing situation too. So follow us in that, put your chats in there. If you say anything crazy, we're going to kick you off the chat. So, again, it's all good. Let's talk about a couple things here. I know we want to talk about how you guys had the weekend, but let's jump right into these topics here because we want to have a lot of time to make sure that Gary's okay. We know we talked about this, Rob. JQ's first reaction was, damn it, I got to play him. Mine was like, are you okay, Gary? Totally opposite ends of the spectrum. But we'll talk about that Dallas trade. And I think, I know we're going to talk about Donald Stanley, but I think we want to kind of push that up because this kind of, and does this kind of remind you of a trade back in the days for Herschel Walker whenever they got all them draft picks? And, that kind of reset that was a ton of picks, but, Herschel Walker gets traded. I mean, Jimmy Johnson was there. And again, Gary, I hate to hear you say this, as I talk about this, but, Jerry's ego would not let Jimmy Johnson get all the love because of Jimmy Johnson, that team was amazing.
He should have got all the love.
Yeah. So, but Jerry couldn't take that. He has to have, it's all me. But they're trying to kind of reset and say, hey, we got this. Now, granted, they had a ton of picks for that Herschel Walker deal. They only got 2 first-round picks. Obviously, I think you also got Kenny Walker or something like that. You got another player deal. And then, obviously, Green Bay goes back and they make they sign him and give $88 million for 4 years. So they didn't waste any time. And we were texting back and forth, guys. I'll let you talk. That, Green Bay, they go all in. They know this is a defense player. Let's target him like they targeted Reggie White. That trajectory just kind of went up too. So it's just they're dealing, man. So all the Packers fans are happy. Dallas fans like, what the, but the floor is yours, gentlemen. I don't know what to take it, and we'll go from there.
Oh, listen, there's only one person that can go first right now.
And it ain't me.
Yes, it is.
It is. So I was as shocked as anyone, of course, to hear that, Parsons got traded. I know that he wanted, he was talking about some back spasms or something like that. And I think he was doing that so that in case he had to set out, he could still get paid. So he went and he was going to go get a second opinion from an outside doctor. And I think that's what really pissed Jerry off and really started this spiral of what ended up as Green Bay becoming probably the top seed in the NFC with a defense like that, or right up there. Absolutely.
Wow.
And also it puts the Cowboys in line for a very high draft pick this year.
Wow.
With Parsons gone, I talked about Dak. This is what I wanted to happen with Dak. I didn't want Dak to get 60 million a year. I want Dak to be gone and us to reset that situation. But they went with Micah. And I don't know if it was just, personality conflict with Jerry and Micah. It had to have been some of that. But then, who knows what goes on in those meetings. These football players are football players, and the owners, they know a hell of a lot more because they negotiate all these contracts. And maybe Micah just felt like it was over his head. He might have said some things in there that maybe he initially agreed with, but really didn't understand it until he talked with his people, and then they said, hey, wait a minute. No, this isn't how it's got to go. So with that said, he's gone, and I guess life goes on without your best player on your team.
I think he got real personal. And listen, part of it's still on Jerry that, you hear talk about that he had that conversation with Micah personally. It's like, bro, he has an agent. And not only does he have an agent, this agent is one of the most hard-nosed agents in the business. And when make a comparison, when T was trying to get his contract done with Cincinnati, it wouldn't have gotten done if he'd have stayed with that agent. T replaced him and got Jamar's agent. They went in as a package deal, and that's how that deal got done. So he was I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's got a reputation of being a really tough negotiator as an agent, and I think Jerry knew that. He didn't want to have to deal with him. He was trying to have a conversation with Mike on the side, and the agent was like, "What are you doing?" And it got personal, and there you go. I'm with you. It kills me. Like when you go get somebody and they turn out to be exactly who you thought they were going to be, then you don't want to pay them. I'm just like, I guess I just don't understand that philosophy. Clear, Rob.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. Hopefully, you guys can hear me pretty good, but not sure what's going on from a technical aspect on my end. But yeah, I think Jerry Jones' ego got in the way of this deal big time, right? I think it's coming back to bite the Cowboys in the ass, right? You never wanted to your best player here, right? I mean, picks, but looking at this, hey, it's going to be 2 first-round picks back in the first round because we're going to have a lot of success, especially if Green Bay can fix that wide receiver position, right? That's probably one of the main few weaknesses on their team. If they can fix that wide receiver position, then look out. This Green Bay team could be a threat to the Lions in that division as well as the overall NFC. And I think Jerry Jones' ego gotten away with this deal. You know, it's old and stubborn. And look, hey, for the credit to the Green Bay Packers. And, you know, you could say maybe they overpaid for him. I don't know, but you got to be aggressive in this day. The aggressive teams win today. The aggressive teams don't always hit, but most of the time, an aggressive team wins. When an aggressive team makes a bold move, they win, right? And this is a bold move for the Packers for them to get over the hump. Micah Parsons is a game changer on the defensive end. When you look at his ability to rush the passer, when you look at his ability to drop in coverage, he's so versatile on the defensive end. He can do a lot of different things. He's around that football. Whether you're running it, whether you're passing it, he's around the football, and he makes things happen. Whether it's sack fumbles, whether it's INTs, whether it's deflections, he's going to be around the football and making big plays happen on the defensive side of the football. And it's a major deal. And look, credit to the Packers.
And it is a credit to the Packers. And the reason why I said that it puts them in that, you know, that conversation of being in that very top tier of teams in the NFC is because Micah Parsons has the ability to give that Green Bay offense an extra possession or two. And you put that in a division where, you know, all 4 of your teams are solid. A player like that in this scenario can be all the difference in the world in whether or not, you know, you win that division, you know, or not. I mean, and he's that player that can do that.
Addition by subtraction. Unfortunately, Gary, the other teams are like kind of laughing. The Commanders were laughing. You know, the Giants. You know, they don't laugh too much. Philly, Micah Parsons.
I was going to say the Giants better not be laughing.
Yeah, but other than that, they're like addition by subtraction. Like, because you know Micah Parsons is now they don't have to face him. Do you guys think it was enough that that Packers gave up? They gave up 2 first rounds. They gave up, obviously defensive tackle Kenny Clark. I would have thought they would have gotten a little bit more, but am I crazy or you?
No, I agree. I was like,
Rob
hit on the head. You know, like you want Golden, you want Matthew Golden. If he could step into that wide receiver room and become the number 1, and then put everybody else in their proper places of being a 2, 3, and 4, you know, in that wide receiver room, and you have him on the other side. Yeah. Listen, if you're going to be drafting the 28th, that's you can't find somebody, you know, 25th, 26th, 27th in the first round. Right. You're not giving up. What's what happens to Jordan Love? You're not giving up a 5th or 6th, overall pick in the first round. You're drafting the end of it. For Dallas, it allows them to maybe package if they are drafting high and they want to go move up against somebody, additional ammunition to move up higher in the first round. But if you're Green Bay, you look at that roster, you're like, hey man, he's 25, 26. You gave him 4 years to anchor that defense, and what you're going to probably get out of that offense as well. I think you make that move if it's available. Who else is making big money on Green Bay?
I got to look it up.
That's it.
He's 26, by the way.
He's got his extension, right?
He's 26, by the way. Micah Parsons is 26. Jordan Love's still young. I mean,
Jordan Love's the only big money player on that roster. Yeah,
man, that's
how balanced. You pay one big guy on defense, one big guy on offense. I mean,
they're going to be a terror. They're looking at what's happening because obviously the GM. I think it's good because basically put his chips all in. Like, let's go all in, man. Let's take it. I think Rashawn Gary is the other devastating duo up front. So again, I would have thought it would have taken maybe 4 first-round draft picks. I'm not trying to pour salt in the wound, Gary, but I just thought there'd be a little bit more Because man, I would have given up 2 first rounds and called it a day. Like 2 first done.
I don't think it would have been 4, but I thought it'd been 2 firsts and maybe like a second and a third, and
right, something else. Yeah, not like. But I was like 2 firsts. That's it. Like that's it. Like I had to double check. Like that's all.
Well, 2 firsts, but Kenny Clark is not a bad defensive tackle either.
Yeah.
So you get a player, and if you think about it, the Cowboys really struggled stopping the run.
Yeah.
The last few years, so you get a player that can come in and plug in a defensive tackle and hopefully, stop the run here or help them stop the run. They're going to lose out on the pass rush, but hopefully they can plug the run and slow that aspect down.
Listen,
so Kenny Clark is probably equivalent of what they could have gotten in a 3rd round pick. I think 2 first round picks was fair though. Yeah.
Fair versus though, like could have been more though. I'm messing me. I'm a little
Yeah, no. Yeah, they're gonna be the NFC Bengals, where it's gonna be 33-35.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so let's keep on here. Let's talk about this next here. I know, and Gary, anything else to say, or are we gonna beat that dead horse? Are you okay?
No, that's
so
we're good.
Another pretty big topic here was, right out the gate, Dawn Staley. There was interesting. She was actually on the Post Move podcast with Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston, and she said that she had she been offered the New York Knicks coaching job, she would have had to take it. I mean, you talk about just kind of a situation where that would have been, even I know she's from Philly, but she's like, it's the New York freaking Knicks. She's dropping, but obviously we know what happened. They ended up hiring Mike Brown, but just kind of like opening the door to that. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of tough. I mean, I know she's a great coach, so it's not good for her. I'm like, I just, the Knicks, it would have been, I think it'd have been a good story, and just kind of open it up too. And then I think, we'll talk about kind of the next future as far as if there's, obviously I know the Spurs kind of talked about that having, a head coach with Becky Harmon, but this would have been pretty big if this would have happened, guys.
Listen, I just don't think I just don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet. I think what you have to have is a situation where what's happening in switch sports, what's happening in Indianapolis, right? Where Ursay is passed, but he's passed it on, but he's passed it on to his daughters.
Yeah.
Right. To be the one making the calls. Not that that's going to happen in the NFL, but what I'm saying? Like if you have a female owner that's strong and like, hey, I want to look at the female coach because I don't like the male coaches that are available to me, right? Or I can't pull a good one from his current team. I think that might be your quickest path. I just don't know if we're that adjusted to society yet. I'm a girl dad. I wish we were. But of course she takes that job if they offer it to her. She's got to. To be a trailblazer, to be the first one. She's got to take that job. But I just don't know if I think they brought her in to gauge, the water.
She did really well. She was ready too. What about like a Pat Summitt, right? Like if that would have been the opportunity, I know she passed, but that would have been
never leaving Tennessee. It would have taken a lot to get her to leave Tennessee. I just don't know if we're that adjusted to society that somebody would go out, a male owner would go out and hire a female coach in one of the big 4 sports.
Gotcha.
Well, that's such a big market too. Maybe in a different scenario with a different organization, maybe a smaller market organization, than a major market like that may have been a better fit off the bat.
Yeah. Because they're going to ride it hard.
I think a liberal market like New York may have been more accepting to her, as a matter of fact. I think her personality actually could have been a really good fit for.
That's true.
I think Mike Brown is a really good coach. I think he's a very underrated coach. The Knicks are my favorite in the Eastern Conference going into the season. Let's see.
Listen,
what is
why
my
you
wife
that
texting me? Why is your screen something?
I don't think so. This is what you forget about New York. They have multiple back pages that are just about the sports section. Sometimes don't even have to do what's happening on the court. If you're winning, you're great. If not, you're a bum. If you do anything off the court that's wrong, they're gonna blow it up and they're gonna blow it up way out of proportion. Like New York and the way they treat their sports with the newspapers and the media is a whole different animal. So I get you on the liberal, but I don't know if New York is the answer because they're ferocious.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's maybe we're not there yet. Like I said, it would have been, I love the podcast because she was just saying, she was extremely prepared. I mean, it may have started out as like one way, and they're like, man, she may have blew them away, and then they're just like, we can't pull the trigger. We don't know if they're ready, and then,
Right.
maybe if you're, I'm sure you're kind of talking to the guys, and they're not going to come out and say anything. Well, I don't know, can I play for, obviously she's well respected, but it's just one of those situations where, like you said, JQ, I don't know if we're quite there yet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably not, but I think if there's any women's college basketball coach or any female that can do it, I think she can.
Yeah, understood. We know she did the job.
I'm not saying she's not qualified. I just don't know if the good system is going to allow it to happen quite yet.
Right. Yeah, I think she can, and I think she'll be successful too. When you listen to her, she knows the game extremely well. She makes the right adjustments on a regular basis, right? I think she knows how to push the right buttons and things of that nature. Obviously, Andre, you mentioned that Becky Harmon was the assistant coach for the Spurs. She didn't become a head coach. And look, I don't think Dawn should go to the NBA as an assistant. I think she's head coach material, right? So if it happens, I think she definitely needs to go as a head coach, not an assistant. Otherwise, you stay at Carolina. You got a machine going there right now. You're going to be a top 5 program this coming season as well. With Tanaya Lawson and that group. And they're going to be really good again this year. So you don't want to leave if there's a head coach position.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Bucks here. The Bucks, apparently the brass, this is for you, Rob. I know the brass is kind of fully behind Giannis. They're kind of deferring to him apparently on some key moves. Does it kind of feel like we're trying to keep Giannis happy? And then have they missed their window, right, with the Dame, Giannis pairing?
I'm sorry, it was kind of very staticky, but I think you were talking about Giannis, right?
Yeah, if they miss his window and then kind of keep him happy. They're trying to keep Giannis happy, the brass.
Well, they're trying to do everything they can. Obviously, the Euro basketball tournament is going on, and he's playing for Greece right now, and the whole Bucks front office, including Doc Rivers and assistant coach Darvin Ham, they're all over there. So they're trying to show him support. And look, the only big move they've been able to make this offseason is adding Miles Turner, right? That's not enough to put the championship conversation. No, not at all, right? And so, Giannis hasn't asked for a trade yet, so kudos to him for trying to stick by the organization and see what they can do, right? Hey, look, Miles Turner gives you some additional size. He's a stretch big, but you won't need another star if they don't have any chance. And look, when they traded Drew Holiday a few years ago from Dame Lillard, I said from the get-go that was a horrible trade. Dame Lillard is a big-time offensive player, but he can't guard any one of us on this show, right? And I could get past Dame Lillard to get to the rack with ease if Dame Lillard was guarding me, right? I thought that was a bad trade, and they've been recovering from that trade ever since.
100%. Yeah, I just sent you a quick text, Rob, to see some options here. While you're doing that, Gary, can you want to talk a little bit more about this Major League Baseball expansion?
Well, the teams that are out there are Charlotte. Their metro area is 2.7 million. Austin, San Antonio, around 3 million. They threw in Mexico City, Montreal at 4.2 million metro area. Nashville, Tennessee at 2.0 million. Orlando at 2.7 million. Portland at 2.5 million. And what I liked about reading about what the Portland deal on it is that they've got this property that's right next to the Nike headquarters. Nike will build it.
Nice.
And it'll be called the Swoosh Field, or I guess Swoosh Field. And they showed a image of it, this big swoosh that's I don't know how many feet it is, but it's massive across the whole backdrop of the stadium. And it'd be one of those stadiums that would retract. Also, Russell Wilson and his wife are still heavily involved in the Portland project, which was bringing Major League Baseball to Portland. They're both.
That would be Sierra.
Yeah, they're both in involved in that big time. And I was reading this article, and it said that if they were going to bring in one team in the West and one team in the East, that Portland would be the front runner in the West because of their location and ease of travel for teams coming in and out of the Western region.
You could
I got something different. I got
compare them with Seattle is the thing. That if you didn't have to go just to Seattle to come back, because I think it was the A, maybe the Giants or Denver is the next closest team. If you put Portland up there by them, then you have that, hey, I can put 2 stops there, or just going to Seattle on the trip and then having to come back to somewhere far away. I don't know about the Nashville and the Charlotte thing, though, only because I don't think
they said when I was looking at something, JQ Gary, they said that the favorites were Salt Lake City and Nashville, and
everybody's trying to go Salt Lake City.
Listen to what it said. I hear what you're saying, but this is why. This is a money grab, right? They were saying that they know that it's a small market, but they said they like, how it's going to create that league in the Mountain Time Zone to kind of have a partner like the Las Vegas Athletics. That's kind of what they're looking at. Nashville, they saw a lot of success of, AAA, the Nashville Sound. That was why. But now, like I said, Gary, it would be great if Major League Baseball was in Portland. I think that's fantastic. And then, like you said, you already got somebody that's going to build the stadium. Like that would be a good look, I would think, obviously. But when I was reading one article, they were like, this is scheduled for 2031, but they were like, this is according to that, Manfield, this is the, commissioner of baseball. He's like Salt Lake and Nashville are 2 heavy favorite. Now, he could be.
Well, when Curtis and I first got on this, on the podcast, we were going to everything where we saw that the Portland project was going, right. Whether it was the car shows or whatever sporting events. Anyway, we went and talked with them many times. And what we were trying to do, of course, see if we could get some sort of sports passes for our this podcast thing that we were just starting with you guys, and they were very receptive to that. And then when Russell Wilson moved off, and life happens with me and everything, it was kind of put on the back burner. But I'd love to have that opportunity to meet with these guys again. That would be fantastic.
I get to try to expand to the Southeast, but I know Atlanta going to be mad. They're going to be mad if they have to get with the Nashville and the Charlotte, one of those markets, because they get people to come to Atlanta to go to the game from there.
Yeah, there definitely is a need for another market in the Southeast, right? Mm-hmm. Because Atlanta, to your point, owns much of the Southeast. I mean, there's no team in Tennessee, no team in the Carolinas. Nashville is one of the fastest growing markets in America. So is Raleigh-Durham area.
Charlotte, Nashville.
Charlotte. So, to Gary's point earlier, they're definitely looking to add a team in the South, either Nashville, Charlotte, or Raleigh-Durham, and they're definitely looking to add a team out west between Salt Lake and Portland, which would be interesting. What markets they decide, and it looked like they want to realign the divisions too, right? They want to try to go to like the NFL model of having 8 4-team divisions and get away from the 6 5-team divisions. So that'll be interesting on how they reshape that too, and there may have to be some teams that change conferences as a result of the realignment too. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that shakes out. And I just hope from a talent perspective, and Major League Baseball is a game that's global as well. So you get players from Japan, Korea, of course, Latin America. So you just hope from a talent perspective, there's enough talent to go around to add 2 more teams into the majors.
I think it is. I think what will happen is that you can't have these teams that mess with the service records of these kids, right? Where they won't call them up when they know they should be called up, but they don't want to call them up after a certain day, so that year doesn't apply to their service records, so they'll hit free agency sooner. So if you expand, expand the market, have an expansion draft, you don't have that ability to kind of stash a player and play those games.
There it is. JQ, I'm so sorry to say this. Ohtani.
Listen, we don't have to talk about it. They lost. It's over.
All right, there we go. Okay. Giancarlo Stanton had 7 home runs in the last 12 games. Should the Yankees shop him, guys, or Robert? Or should they let him ride his
not? This is the time of the year when Stanton gets hot and Judge gets cold. so, so we need him.
Right.
we need to find a way for both of them to get hot. But hey, I know I've been talking a lot of trash about the Yanks, and I know Gary has too. And don't seem like we can beat the good teams. But all of a sudden, we're on a 5-game winning streak. But we lose the first 3 to the damn Red Sox.
I got
all
to go on vacation more often. Go on vacation and they win some games.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably still make the playoffs. They're just not good enough to beat any of the elite teams. Obviously, the Blue Jays. Obviously, we can't even beat the Red Sox. And look, the Mariners. The Mariners might have one of the best starting pitching staffs in the American League, and then top half of their lineup is elite too, right? So I mean, they're a sleeper in my opinion. I know I think they're about a game behind Houston, but that Seattle team scares me more than the Houston team does. So to me, when I look at the American League, I like Seattle and I like Toronto.
Yeah, listen, 2 teams we still got to play in September. It's over for the Reds. Listen, they got into football season, and I'm happy about it.
Good stuff.
There you go. Now, see, you went back to the Reds.
We try to avoid it.
The Reds are my favorite. The Reds are probably my favorite team. So having to watch them deal with this, it really hurts my soul. But to actually be able to be with them, almost be a game, 2 games outside the wild card. But the Dodgers start playing like the Dodgers, and I knew they would, and it is what it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good
stuff. Ohtani, 9 strikeouts last night. Wow.
Yeah, it's on fire. Man, good stuff. Hey, I just want to point this out. We may not get a chance to talk through it, but Rob posted the top 50 NFL draft prospects on our Talking Sports page. We can talk briefly. We keep beating this dead horse about the top eligible QBs for next year's draft, and we know who the top one is right now at the gate. Again, we talk about Arch Manning out the gate if he comes out, which is what the Saints are praying for. We talk about how some quarterbacks were going to artificially rise, and is Lenore Sellers a dude? Drew Allar, JQ's favorite quarterback.
No.
Garrett Nussmeier. You're looking at the kind of like the top 10 quarterbacks here. You got Cade Klubnik, Nico. You got Sam Levitt, Carson Beck. You got a lot of quarterbacks here, right? So, Rob, I don't know if you want to kind of briefly hit on that.
Yeah, I mean. I have Arch Manning number 1. Obviously, he's got the bloodlines, right? And he's a dual threat guy, unlike the statue quarterbacks that Peyton and Eli were. And obviously, they were great statue quarterbacks, particularly Peyton, of course. But Arch adds another dimension to the quarterback position. So, but even Arch, I've said this before on the show. I still, I have him there, but I still want to see how he performs. I mean, he's only started 2 games. In his college career. He's going on a big-time road game this weekend. Let's see how he plays in a hostile environment against a really good team. Ohio State's got some NFL draft prospects on that defense, right? Now, Texas is going to have a good offensive line this year again, right? Even though they lost Kelvin Banks to the draft and a few others, they're still going to be loaded on the offensive line where they have some NFL draft prospects on that line, too. So I have Arch Manning number 1. Over the last week and a lot of my downtime, I've done a lot of homework on the quarterback position in this draft, right? Going back, looking at YouTube videos from spring training from last year, et cetera. And I want to see what all the buzz about is some of these guys the NFL scouts are really high on. And the guy I moved up to number 2 is a surprise, Fernando Mendoza. He's going to be the quarterback for Indiana this year. Big-time quarterback at Cal last year. Cal didn't have much, but Cal was extremely competitive, transferring to Indiana. A lot of scouts have him out in the first round conversation. Extremely accurate quarterback. He's got a quick release, processes information extremely quickly. This guy I really like, so we're going to see what he does in the Big Ten this year, coming over from Cal. Number 3, Garrett Nussmeier. He's got one of the strongest arms in college football. He's actually a lot more mobile than people think as well. He doesn't use his feet often, kind of like Michael Penix a little bit. Michael Penix, very athletic quarterback who doesn't scramble, and Nussmeier has that too, and he's got the arm talent for sure. Cade Klubnik at the number 4 position at the quarterback position, right? He's one of the best returning quarterbacks in college football. Had a good year. He's got a good receiver in Williams this year. So we'll see what they do. Well, actually, we'll see. I'll be there at the game this Saturday night. So I hope LSU busts that ass. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Right.
But I got Cade
Oh,
Klubnik
yeah, we will.
at the number 4 position. The number 5 position, I'm waiting to hear what JQ's got to say about this. I'm buying into the Drew LR hype. I got him at number 5. When you look at his arm talent, when you look at his size, when his pocket presence, and going back and watching a lot of clips from last year, he had a lot of receivers that dropped a lot of balls last year, a lot of accurate throws obviously Tyler Warren was his only really true weapon. So I want to see, I'm buying into a little bit of hype. Most NFL scouts still have him higher than what I have him. But I have him as the 5th best quarterback right now that's draft eligible. And number 6, Lennar Sellers. Lennar Sellers, is he Anthony Richardson? Is he better than Anthony Richardson?
Here we go.
Got the same size. He can run like Anthony Richardson. He can throw the football. He was a big-time threat in South Carolina last year. So I have him at the number 6 at the quarterback position right now. Number 7, this is another sleeper, John Mateer, Oklahoma. Right? Oklahoma could be a real surprise this year, coming over from Washington State. And, we'll see what your boy have under his sleeve this year on the defensive side of the football. I think Oklahoma is going to be a better team and a competitive team this year. But I have John Mateer at the number 7 spot at the quarterback position. And I'll stop there. Those are my top 7 quarterbacks right now for the draft for next year.
Man, y'all got to stop that Drew Allard shit. Listen, when the chips is on the line, he folds. He folds. Like, what at one point, him, his head coach, all of them, they fold. Why are people
I can't argue with you with James Franklin, but he's got to have some receivers to catch the ball, too.
Listen, I watched that dude make bad decisions. I watched
just like Cam Ward.
And boy, they went to Indiana. Come on, man. So if you're that dude, he left Stanford, and all the places you go, you went to Indiana? That's where you went? You went to Indiana? So everything I know about who else wanted it.
Did you have Nico in that, Rob, and Carson Beck, or did I miss that?
Hell no.
I do not. No.
I was asking the question.
Nico's a talented guy, man, but man, he can't hit the side of a barn, man. He's got to improve his accuracy big time.
And he's also a head case.
I watched a lot of clips of him. Carson Beck. I'm interested to see what he does against Miami. I mean, I'm sorry, against Notre Dame.
Because you know what he's gonna do. So
look, I know we're gonna get to our predictions. I don't want to spoil it just yet. But yeah, I spent a lot of time on Nico and Carson Beck too. Nico, his accuracy's got a long way to go. He can't hit a fat man 2 yards away.
Damn, that is rough. Listen, I like the Norris.
Thank God for
a
that.
bunch of people that were so happy that South Carolina lost another game last year to make the playoffs because that South Carolina team was playing really good for a stretch. They were dangerous.
Yeah. They gave LSU fits in that game. We managed to pull it out, but they gave us fits.
Yes, they did. And the thing about Richardson, though, he's going to end up having more starts than Richardson. I think Richardson only had like 13 starts in Florida.
Yeah, he did.
So I think he's going to be a better version of that. I like him a lot, and I like the kid from is it Arizona State? Is it Levitt?
Yeah, Levitt.
Yeah, Levitt.
Yeah, I kind of got Levitt as a 3rd round guy right now.
Yeah, good stuff.
It's Arizona State.
And Beck right now I have as a 4th rounder. Just so you know.
Good stuff.
Playing for the Argonauts.
Now JQ is a quarterback evaluator, guys. Hey, let's keep this moving here. Gary, Rob, JQ, stay on the lookout because we're going to get into our college football predictions here. We've been waiting for this. I'm going to wrap up shortly. Just want to give a quick shout out. I know you guys don't care about Georgia Tech, but they are playing Buffalo's tomorrow, so I'm excited to see that. And I know they're 4-point favorites, so I hope that they do their thing. So they're
gonna beat Colorado. I know that's not one of our predictions, but I'll give you my 2 cents.
I'm just saying I appreciate that because I know you guys don't give me like a lot of love, and I'm trying to stay on the radar because again I know they're not a blue light or anything like that, but I'm just hoping that they play well. So
I think why they're gonna beat Colorado. I don't know if Colorado's good enough in the trenches yet. And Georgia Tech gonna pound that rock. Haynes King, they're gonna run that ball. They're gonna pound that rock and control the time of possession. Look, I'm pulling for Deion. Obviously, you got the kid transferring from Liberty. They got a 5-star freshman coming out of the Atlanta area in Lewis. Yeah. And but I just wonder if they're good enough in the trenches still. And we'll see. Like I say, I'm pulling for them, but I just don't know if they're gonna be able to handle Georgia Tech in the trenches.
Appreciate you, man. I know you guys don't care. I'm just saying, just one day, man. Just that's my little 2 cents, man.
No, I'm interested in watching that game tomorrow. I'm tuning into that one.
Shout out to my tech. I got you. Not everyone could be Ohio State, JQ. Damn it. Come on, man. Shit. Let's get to these predictions. Let's get it. Number 1, Texas at number 3, Ohio State. Let's go, Texas. Hook 'em horns.
Well, listen.
Man, the Bearcats giving Nebraska all they can handle right now, huh? They got Patrick Mahomes at the game, Travis Kelce at the game.
Listen, don't bring that nonsense up here. I did this for you, Rob, so we can agree on it together. Just for it. Little Michael Thomas action. Let's go, Buckeyes. You know who I'm rooting for. You know who I'm picking. You don't even have to come to me.
Whose jersey that you wearing?
Michael Thomas, Ohio State jersey.
Oh, Michael Thomas. Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
yes,
yeah. I got a Michael Thomas Saints jersey.
Y'all
know last year, early in the season, I picked Oregon to beat Ohio State, even though Ohio State was number 1 in the country. And I said last year look, Ohio State's a better team, but they're going to lose on the road. And I said exactly 1 point in that game last year. Somehow I was luckily right on the exact point spread on that particular game. I kind of feel the same way about this game. I think Texas is the better team, but I think Ohio State wins a close one. I'm not going to say 1 point. I think they win maybe by 3 to 7 points or something like that. I think Ohio State wins a close one, but I think Texas is the better team, and I think in the long run we will see that. But I think in this environment, look, regardless of what we think about Julian saying, is he going to be good enough? But all I know is he's got 2 of the best wide receivers in the country out on the perimeter. If they just find a way to give him the football, Smith and Carnell Tate, right? And look, if Smith was in this draft, he would be the number 1 pick, right? Yep. Over any quarterback.
Yeah.
So I know he's not going to be draft eligible yet. And I have Carnell Tate in my top 50 here. So if you just get those 2 guys to football, and you got some players on that defense already, Caleb Downs and players of that nature. And look, if Texas is going to compete in this game, there's no doubt about it. They got players too. But I'm going to say Ohio State wins this game at home. That crowd's going to be hyped. They're the defending champs. I think they find a way and they win this game on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be like the semifinal game, minus the scoop and score at the end. It's going to be a battle. So if you were thinking as a Ohio State fan, they're going to go in there and they're just going to mop Texas, then you're delusional.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't this Manning's going to be his 3rd start?
Yes.
And he's going in and playing the Buckeyes?
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
That's right.
In that environment.
I kind of disagree with you, JQ. I mean, I know you want to, keep everything close to the vest, but I think that the Buckeyes are going to walk on them.
Listen,
and I don't think that Texas is going to end up being better than the Buckeyes either.
I don't either. I think they're really closely matched, though. I think Texas has a really good team. So I'm not going to go here and disrespect them. I think they have a really good team. I think it's going to come down to which quarterback, young quarterback, just making their starts, who, makes the least mistakes. Let the team around them kind of just propel them forward. But, I'm not going to go here. I'm not trying to, not do the reverse chase. I think we win, but I think it's still going to be a close game. I do. I think Texas has a good team.
9 points. I don't think that 9 points.
I think what keeps the game close is still the unknown at the quarterback position for Ohio State. But like I said, if they can just find a way to get those receivers to football, you got the best wide receiver in college football, and then Carnell Tate is also one of the best. He's not top 3, but he's one of the best in college football.
Is good too. I think it's the other way, Rob. I think if I'm Texas defensive coordinator, I'm gonna make Ohio State be patient and run the ball. You gotta remember they lost Henderson and Junkins to this draft. Yep. What does that running back room look like? But I know on the outside they can kill us. So I'm gonna make sure they don't kill us on the outside. When we stay patient, when we run the ball and do those running backs, I know it's Ohio State, they're gonna get good running backs. But do they show up, in their first time under the spotlight without those 2 studs they had last year? I think it's really the running game of Ohio State where they make Texas have to creep up, and then you can take those shots on the other side of them. That will be the difference in this game.
Yeah, and look, that's a good point. Maybe Texas, play too deep, cover 2 to try to protect the perimeter and try to keep the game in between the 20s, right? and try not to get touchdowns away, maybe just give field goals away to Ohio State. So that you're right, that could be a really good strategy for Texas in this game to try not to get beat on the perimeter. And hey, we don't want to bring that 8 guy in the box against this team and we get beat over the top.
Correct.
Good stuff. All right, Rob, right after that. And I got to give college football credit for some great matchups right out the gate here. So next we've got number 9 LSU versus number 4 Clemson. Another great matchup here. Brian Staley trying to figure out his purpose for his job. Go ahead, Rob. What about this one?
Hey, you got 2 of the better returning quarterbacks in college football, and Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier in this game. Should make it for a very entertaining matchup as well. I'm going to be there. Looking forward to it. Look. I'm an LSU Tigers fan. I want LSU to win, but I got to be objective here. Hey, look, Clemson's at home. Clemson's got one of the best defensive lines in college football. Peter Woods, T.J. Parker. I got both of those guys going in the top 10 right now in the draft. In LSU, 4 of their offensive linemen from last year got drafted, right? Will Campbell, number 4 overall pick. There's some other guys that went highly drafted, and Emory Jones, 4 to 5 starters. So that's going to be the battle right there in this game. If LSU have any shot at winning, can they block this Clemson defensive line? LSU's loaded at wide receiver. They loaded at running back. Obviously, you got one of the best quarterbacks in college football. But can they get the protection and can they get the blocking in the run game against that Clemson defensive line? So that's going to be the big question mark in this game in my mind. If LSU is going to have any shot at win. So I'm going to go with Clemson. I'm going to say somewhere around 30-24, and I pick Clemson at home in this game. And like I said, the question mark for me is LSU, do they recruit well on the offensive line? Absolutely. But a lot of these guys are going to be first-time starters on that offensive line, and they're going to get some All-American defensive linemen in this matchup. Now, the thing is, for Clemson, they got Terrell at cornerback. But outside of him, it's A.J. Terrell's younger brother. Outside of him, their secondary is not that great. So if LSU can get some protection, they go about 5 or 6 deep at wide receiver. Can they beat some of the other guys? But outside of Terrell, they don't have a whole lot in that secondary.
Listen, I'm going with Clemson at home at what time is that game? It's at night. It's like 7:30, isn't it?
7:30 Eastern.
Yeah, that episode is going to be raucous. And if I'm being honest with you, Chip Kelly is turning into the white James Franklin. Like
Brian Kelly, yeah.
Brian Kelly. Listen, he's 0-3 in his openers. In these big time
3 in his openers.
Yeah. So I got confused, but I know his ass came in the first game. So now he's taking the first game on the road to the other Death Valley at night, and you want me to say that's where you get off the snide? I'm not saying they can't, but if you're gonna ask me, given everything that Rob just said, the X's and O's are perfect. But it's I don't know. I just can't take Brian on an opener. Definitely not on the road.
Hey, valid, all valid points.
Good stuff.
So, like I said, I'm pulling for LSU. I'll be there, my purple and gold. But hey, I got to be objective too.
I hear you.
Well, I hate Clemson. And I really want that to play a factor in this. I don't think it's going to. I do have Clemson win in a close game. What was your score, Rob?
I had 30-24.
That sounds about right. I think that front four is just going to be a little too much for him.
Yeah. Good game. It's going to be a good game out the gate. All right, Gary, you get the first crack of this one.
Oh, my God.
Number 6, Notre Dame at number 10, Miami. So, I know I'm going to do this for you, Gary, in a quick second here. I know we're going to talk about, the famous – I know how much we feel about Mario Cristobal. I know how much you love him.
Wow.
Oh, no. Oh, that's
and as Jakey talks about it, we talk about quarterbacks right now. Riley Leonard obviously is gone. The Notre Dame is going to have the sophomore C.J. Carr as the new quarterback. He just beat out junior
Lloyd Carr's grandson.
Yeah, we talked about that. He beat out Kenny, Minchie during the summer battle. But then you got Carson Beck. So you got more of a veteran quarterback. You got this young quarterback coming in. They're playing at Miami. What happens, Gary?
I love Miami and I hate their coach. He's a good recruiter. Let's let him just leave the coaching to somebody else because he sucks ass.
It's not what we asked you, Gary, but we get you. But
I think he's asking the question.
I
had to start with him. Unfortunately, okay, I'm going to pick Miami 24-21. And that's just with my heart.
Hey, I think Miami wins the game too. And they're at home, number one. Number two, hey, look, we could talk bad about Carson Beck as much as we want. Yes, he did drop off last year, but who are you going to take in this game, Carson Beck or CJ Carr, right?
Yeah.
You're going to take the guy who's got some experience, who's played at a high level already in college football here. Miami's got one of the best offensive lines in the country. When you look at offensive lines in college football this year, I got Alabama, Miami, and Utah. There's three schools that's probably got some of the best offensive linemen in the country this year. And so, I mean, I think Miami can block Notre Dame up front. So they're going to be able to give Carson Beck the time. And I think Miami's defense is going to be improved this year. I don't think it's going to be great, but their defense was not great at all last year. But I think their defense, they're going to be able to rush the passer. I think their defense is going to be better. And I think Miami's going to be a playoff team this year. I do think by the season's end, I think Notre Dame could be a better team. And I think they're going to have the best running back in college football in Jeremiah Love. But I'm going to go with Miami in this game too because they got the better quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that yet. You assume that because we've seen him suck, which you feel like he has the experience of big games to come out and not be routed by it. I remember when Miami used to have the Orange Bowl and that just mystique and that, you go in there in the smoke machine and you was like, oh no. But, in that manufactured stadium they share with the Dolphins, I think, like, you don't really have that kind of home field advantage. And you look at Marcus Freeman, I take him over Cristobal as a coach. I take Jeremiah Love. Notre Dame's got their wide receiver. Sorry, America, not Winning House. I forget his name. But he's partially brought Notre Dame back in that game against Ohio State in the national championship game. Yeah. So, and they still have a solid defense. So I was like, Miami's my second favorite team behind Ohio State. So it hurts me. And Rob talked about how I hate the Catholics. And everybody knows I cannot stand Notre Dame. Hate them. I hate them.
Convicts versus the Catholics. Y'all remember that, right?
Yeah, and I was on the convict side all the time. But that being said,
me too.
I just don't trust the Cristobal Carson Beck tandem. I would love for them to go out and win this game because I would love nothing more for them to beat Notre Dame 51-6. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think
you didn't trust Will Howard this time of the year last year either.
Listen, because I didn't see enough from him. Listen, he got kicked out of his starting role at Kansas State, so it was valid, right? Until we saw him, and then he really didn't really win me over until he went on that great run in the college football playoffs. Like he wasn't where we was in the mid-season. Like, oh man, that Will Howard, he just had enough talent around him to where he didn't have to do a whole lot.
You didn't trust C.J. Stroud in his second game.
I didn't. He had to win me over too, and he was out there messing up in the beginning. So it's just that I take Marcus Freeman over the tandem of Beck and Cristobal is why I'm picking Notre Dame in this game, even though I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it a Great House that you're thinking of, or am I missing something for the
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's a problem.
Yeah. Hey, it's pretty funny.
Ray, do you have I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Do you have, I'm sorry, JQ, do you have Miami as a playoff team? Because I sure in the hell don't.
It really depends on which Carson Beck you get. I watched him play well for Georgia, and then I watched him just fall off a cliff, and it was like, damn, Carson. I loved it because I hate the Bulldogs with a passion. I don't know if I hate them as much as I hate Notre Dame, but it's close. So it's his play, and can they overcome Cristobal? Because you're right. It's those two things. It's the difference between winning by 4 and losing by 3. You know what I mean? Like not being able to finish that drive to get in the end zone to take the lead, or not being able to stop a field goal drive. Because that defense last year was horrid. Cam Ward was putting up big numbers, and they were still losing. It was like, what's going on, Miami? I like to revisit it a couple weeks into the season. I need to see more from Carson Beck, and I need to see Cristobal. If you're Cristobal and you know that, at some point you got to look yourself in the mirror. You got to get a little Michael Jackson and say, I'm a good recruiter, but should I give some of these other duties to my offensive defensive coordinator and I just become a manager, kind of like Bobby Bowden, where I can recruit? I got this thing going for me, but the X's and the O's, I'm going to leave to my offensive coordinator and my defensive coordinator to get the hell out the way. For me, it's about timeout management and letting them do their thing. You got to get to that point if you know that you're not that guy in terms of X's and O's.
Well, one thing I will say about Cristobal, his team start fast, but they fade at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And so that's something you got to think about too. They could get off a fast
and
start.
We're thinking, hey, this is great. And then pretty soon they're 8-3 and and you're like, here we go again.
Just the opposite of Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly can't win week 1.
You're right. And the thing about it is I think they want, it's going to come down to, because I think Clemson's going to be the one that wins the conference. But the powers that be want there to be a second ACC team to be in that playoff, right? They don't want you just to be Clemson. So it comes down to, is it Miami or is it potentially Florida State? So we'll see, because I don't think it's going to be a SMU or
a 3-loss team gets in.
I don't know if there'll be 3 losses. I don't think they love it that much, but they want.
Well, Clemson got in last year with 3 losses. That's because they won the conference.
Right. Well, if that happens, then yeah. But I don't think they want a 3-loss team there. But if the powers that be, they want 4 from the SEC, they want 3 from the Big Ten, they want a couple from the ACC, and then you got to give the children of the poor, you got to give them one, and then the Big 12 a couple. So.
No, the Big 12 not getting 2. They can forget it. They only going to get their champion just like last year.
We know how you hate Notre Dame, but Notre Dame got some. I was looking at their draft class. They got some sons of a couple of NFL players. They got Devin Fitzgerald, the son of Larry Fitzgerald, coming in as a recruit next year. Jerome Bettis Jr. That's crazy. I was like, what? That's
listen. Make it easy for
Marcus
me to
Freeman's building a program.
Yeah. Man, that's amazing.
And
no doubt about it.
Good.
If Notre Dame can keep a quarterback, they're going to be good almost everywhere else. They're going to be good in the trenches. They're going to be good on defense. It's about the quarterback position for Notre Dame. If they can get elite quarterbacks, then they'll be able to compete. And CJ Carr is a 4-star recruit. He wasn't a 5-star recruit. I mean, they got to get in the 5-star recruit game.
No, they don't.
At the quarterback position. No, I'm just saying, I'm being objective here. If they're going to compete for national titles, that's what they're going to need here.
All right, we're going to wrap up another big game. We got number 8, Alabama at Florida State. I know you had mentioned that earlier, JQ, as far as another team the ACC wants to get in there. So as Florida State, the debacle, I think what's his name? Mike Norvell has cashed in every NIL deal to kind of make sure that he's good going into this season, because that was a mitigated disaster last year. But what about this? Another good game out the gate. And Alabama, I think, is favored in this, obviously. But
this won't be a good game.
It will not be a good game. Alabama's going to whip ass, right?
Whip ass.
I don't think this will be a good game personally. But
I don't either. I think Alabama stops Florida State.
I think so too. We talked about Jeremiah Smith. I think Ryan Williams is the second best wide receiver in college football. And I already talked about it. Alabama's going to have one of the best offensive lines in the country. Caden Proctor, left tackles, probably got a top 10 pick at the offensive tackle position. Alabama's front 7 on defense is legit, man, this year. LT Overton, Deontay Lawson. I mean, they're going to be loaded on the defense. Now, the question mark for Alabama is the secondary this year. Now, when Nick Saban was the coach, they always had a good secondary because he coached them himself. But that's going to be the question mark for Alabama. But their offensive line, their front 7 on defense is going to be legit. I don't think Florida State stands a chance in this game, in my personal opinion.
Listen, it's one of those things where, Texas is finally back. But, when the Florida State back, is Miami back, is Texas back, Texas is back. Miami had a blip. Florida State is not back, and it boggles my mind. I root for Ohio State people out here watching. I'm from Ohio. I'm a Buckeye by birth, but I went to school in Florida A&M. And you go out there and you look at the talent that just the state of Florida has. If they could just keep their players in Florida at those 3 big schools, at Florida State, Florida, Miami, they wouldn't even have this problem. They could go get them a specialist from Georgia or Louisiana or Texas or California. But if they wanted to just recruit Florida and keep those boys there, there'd be a problem. I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't understand how the Florida teams aren't good every single year with all the homegrown talent.
That's fair. A lot of speed, a lot of wide receiver speed there too, man. So
well, out of all of these games, these are all good matchups except this one. And I was looking at this, and I'm like, man, I think Alabama's just going to go in there and bitch slap them.
He's got to throw the kitchen sink at Florida State. He's got to throw the kitchen sink. The first game out, against Florida State, I don't think they're the team that they used to be in the 90s or whatnot. Put the name of Florida State. But all those Alabama fans that got the dude from the West Coast, and they didn't want his ass anyway because he ain't one of us. He ain't from down south. He was SEC country, bro. The ability to go out there and put your foot on Florida State's neck could give him a little bit of leeway heading into the rest of the season. If it's nip and tuck or he loses it, whoo.
Yep. Yeah, we got to see what Alabama do with Ty Simpson is going to do with the quarterback for Alabama. That's one question mark. But obviously you got Ryan Williams, you got that offensive line, you got that front seven on defense. But yeah, we do need to see what they're going to get out of Ty Simpson at the quarterback position.
Listen, if like I know, we go out there and sell that house in Hoover, Alabama, get his ass up out of there. If he don't go out there and beat Florida State, that's all I'm saying.
You better beat him, yeah. Well, I think they will. I don't think it'll be close. Dylan Raiola with a touchdown pass.
There he is. There it is.
He sucks.
Let's wrap this up here. I just want to give a shout out to Rick Barnes getting a lifetime contract with Tennessee. And Tennessee always takes care of the coaches, man. They have some elite major coaches from Pat Summitt to the world. And then what Rick has done is the most accomplished one of the most accomplished Bulls basketball, obviously 25 win seasons, 4 Sweet 16 trips, 2 Elite 8, 4 top 10 finishes, 3 SEC crowns. And he's been a great coach, man. So obviously they just keep, basically at the end of each year, they're going to keep, keeping his contract going, so great move for Rick Barnes, obviously.
I think that's just an ignorant thing to say, to come out there and do. Just get that dude a couple of years and just keep redoing it. What if he just falls off a cliff and he sucks? You gave him a lifetime contract. Now you got to go out there and say the dude that we love so much that gave a lifetime contract, we fired him. The PR on that is so bad. I would never do. I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if
JQ is going to the Mike Brown school or not. So JQ is cheap. He's not going to pay nobody, man. Come on.
Listen, but the egg
go have school of Mike Brown economics.
No, I didn't say you don't pay him. See, that's not what I said. I said I'm gonna give him a 3 or 4 year deal and pay him. But when you come out and say I'm giving you a lifetime contract, and what you get to year 3 or 4, and you have violations, and you go out there and you just suck rocks. Now you got to tell these people that you just gave this coach a lifetime contract that you fired him. Like, that's gonna be hard to come back from.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure they got some clauses in that contract for those kind of things. Obviously, they're not going to talk about that when they talk about the media, but I'm sure there's some outs to that, obviously, if something like if those kind of things happen.
But even if you don't have a contract,
but I agree with you. It doesn't sound good, lifetime contract. It doesn't sound good. Yeah, he's a good coach. I think he does more with less. He's not getting he's not getting too many 5-star basketball recruits to go to Tennessee. He's getting a lot of people in the transfer portal to go there, and he coaches them up and does a really good job. I mean, Tennessee's been a really good basketball program since he's been there.
Yep.
But they haven't made it to the Final Four yet. They've been competitive. They've been knocking on that door, but he hasn't gotten them to any kind of Final Four or anything like that yet.
Just let you know. Hold on, Gary. Just let you know, his contract is actually through the 2028 season. And the way that his structure is right now, he's making about $6 million a year. And then if they fire him before the end of his contract, which is in April of 2028, they will owe him whatever's left. But again, after that date, no money is owed until the contract is restructured again. So again, at the end of that, they can kind of have that.
They call it a lifetime deal then.
Right. So they just make him feel good about that with the press conference. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, it says that he's still the coach for the Vols, and if he's not retired, Tennessee will extend his contract 1 additional year. So that's kind of
Rick Barnes is about like 65 years old now too.
He's 71. He's 71.
So he's up there. Yeah, 71. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So,
see, they said it's 3 or 4 years. This is a lifetime contract.
That's terrible.
Crazy. That's close.
That's best. That's best.
I don't like that, JQ.
Come on, man. It's a joke. I'm talking about in terms of coaching, not in terms of when he's gonna live or die. easy
Come on.
America. That's not what I mean. I'm talking
Come
about
on,
he might
Joe.
only
I
have
don't like that.
He might only have 3 or 4 good years of coaching left. At 75, he might not even want to do it no more, or he might suck.
That's funny.
It's like Bill Belichick just took a new job at 73.
Listen. He got that new young thing on his arm. He needs that money.
He's got to do something to keep doing.
Yeah.
You got to spend.
But Bill probably feel like he in his 40s now. Huh?
That's hilarious. Do your last topic, guys. We'll wrap up the show. Anything else you want to talk about? We'll wrap this up.
I am good. I am struggling. Y'all go ahead and have it.
The only thing I'm going to talk about as far as the last topic, obviously this game probably didn't get a lot of attention on a national scale, but South Florida just beat the stew out of Boise State tonight, 34-7. And what does that mean? Obviously, one school from the group of 5 has to make it to the college football playoffs. And so that was a huge loss for Boise State. And I think it almost eliminates them from that group of 5 spot, just like that. Because now I think whoever wins the AAC will probably get that group of 5 spot. And it's probably going to be the South Florida or Tulane on who gets that group of 5. So I think that was a bigger game than a lot of people are talking about tonight. I mean, they got, as JQ would say, monkey stump on tonight, 34-7.
Where
and,
at?
that's going to be hard to overcome to get that only one group of 5 spot.
It was in Florida, I think.
Yeah, it was in Tampa.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. I was in Boise yesterday, and a lot of the Boise State fans were traveling down there.
Listen, but they're not ready for that humidity in late August in Tampa.
Oh gosh, no.
Not at all.
That dry heat and humid heat is 2 different things. And Boise gets hot now, but yeah, it's a dry heat.
Yeah, listen, you all well and good when you pumped up in that first quarter. That second quarter hit and that sweat started wearing them shoulder pads and that helmet, then you won't play them up.
We won't play no more. I'm going home.
Oh, picking my ball.
Let's wrap this up. Wrap this up, Rob.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully have this fixed on next week. But we'll be back sometime next week. So stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. We want to hear from y'all after the first big week of college football. We want to hear from y'all. We got pennant races going on in Major League Baseball right now. We want to hear from you guys about that as well. Hey, Philadelphia, 19-4. Y'all get swept by the Mets, and then you come back and Kyle Schwarber hit 4 home runs in one game. Now he's only 1 back of Kyle Riley in the race for home runs, just like that in one game.
Little Kyle kid.
Yep. So, wow. And then the Mets lose to the Marlins. You sweep the Phillies, then you come out and lose to the Marlins. Unbelievable. Yeah. Go figure. But anyway, join us next week, everyone. Good night.
Good night, y'all. You know what it is. Enjoy your football. And listen, Fox and YouTube TV, y'all stop that shit. Stop putting the deadline right before the first weekend of the season. Talk about we ain't going to carry no games. Luckily, they came to an agreement so the Fox will be showing the games on it. But don't do that to us. Don't do that to the people. What are you doing? Why?
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, we know it's a money grab.
And hey, FS1, man, last night, man, I was looking for a good baseball game to watch. I had the Pirates and the Cardinals on, man. 2 teams not needed in the pennant race.
Baseball has to have the worst media rights deal of any of the 4. It's wild. We can put it as a topic for another day because I'm going to go lay down and try to go to sleep. It's wild. All this time with no football on, you can't find shit on TV unless you got the MLB package. It's bad. Do better, Manfred. MLB, be better.
The Cardinals and the Pirates.
That's bad. Hey,
man, you got to go back to the 1970s when the Cardinals against the Pirates mattered.
Right.
Hope you guys had a great
Roberto Clemente.
You ain't got to go back that far. I mean, the Pirates
Willie Stargell. Man, last time the Pirates was I forgot early. They had Barry Bonds in the early 90s.
Yeah, Andy Spike and Bobby Bonilla. Like, they had a good outfield. Fuck them, but they had a good outfield.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That's true.
Totally true. All right, gentlemen. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Be safe. Be good.
All right, y'all.
Good night, everyone.